Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with On the Qui Vive by PjoeterBliep. It means like on the watch or something like that in French. Cool. So this continues our parity theme week. Parity is just the property of numbers being even or odd. So we're going to be dealing with evens and odds in some way in this puzzle. Let's go over the rules. So we have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules, meaning in each row, each column, and each 2x3 box, we are placing the digits 1 to 6 exactly once each. We also have this green line in the grid. This is a German whisper line. So every two adjacent digits along the line have to have a difference of at least 3. So if this was a 2, how do I make these two have a difference of at least 3? Well, I can't put a 1. That's a difference of 1. 2 would have a difference of 0. 3 would have a difference of 1. 4 would have a difference of 2. 5 has a difference of 3. That is at least 3, so 5 is possible. And 6 has a difference of 4, which is also at least 3. And so that's also possible. So next to the 2, I need a 5 or a 6. Now that I've placed maybe a 5 here, now these two also need to have a difference of at least 3. So we have to go back down to 1 or 2 from here. 3 would be too close. 5 minus 3 is 2. So that just keeps going. So the line kind of alternates in ways. All right, we also have odd nonogram. That's a fun one. So the digits outside of the grid indicate the length of runs of odd digits in order. There must be at least one even cell between two runs of odd digits. So this 1 and 2. So notice that we get the full runs because there's 3 odds and 3 evens in each row and column. And so maybe this is an odd digit. Maybe this is 3. And I'm going to use orange to represent odd. So I'll just use orange for odd and blue for even. So now that's a run of length 1. That means I must put at least 1 even after it. Maybe I could put 2 evens after it even, but I need at least 1 even after it in order for it to be a length 1 run. Otherwise it would be a length 2 or 3 run. And then now I have an odd. And now I need a length 2 run, so I need 2 odds, and then this would be an even to finish off. So this would be one way to fulfill this row. We have a length 1 run and a length 2 run. These are in order, so I can't do 2 then 1. It must be 1 then 2. And that's it. Those are the rules. There is a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. All right. I'm going to color this line, not even odd, but this is going to represent low, high. Why low, high? Well, we're going to call 1, 2, and 3 low, and 4, 5, and 6 high. And because of the difference of 3, note that we're going to end up always jumping between these two ranges. No matter where we are in the 1, 2, 3 range, we can't stay in the 1, 2, 3 range. That's too close. So we have to end up in the 4, 5, 6 range. And stuff like 3 is more restricted. We have to put a 6 next to a 3. But in general, we know we're going to alternate low, high, and that can really help with figuring out how these lines work. So we go 1, 2, 3, we go to 4, 5, 6, back to 1, 2, 3, back up to 4, 5, 6. But we don't know whether this is a low or a high yet. So I'm just going to go green, purple, etc. across it. And if this number ends up being low, then green is low. All the greens are low. If this green ends up being high, then all the greens are high. So it represents the sort of symbolic categorization of them without knowing what's what yet. But what we do know is that there are exactly 3 lows and 3 highs in each row, column, and box, because there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. And so we already have 3 greens in this column, so this has to be purple. Now that tells me I should probably be looking at this run of 3 odd digits. How are we going to have a run of 3 odd digits? Now, if you'll notice from 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 has 2 odd digits, and 4, 5, 6 has 1 odd digit. And notice that we're completely alternating here. So if I want a run of 3 odds, I'm going to have to do a 1, 3, then a 5, then a 1, 3 in some way. I can't do it because I'm alternating low, high. So I'm going to always end up with 2 of the same parity surrounding the middle one, which means that has to be the low. So, but we don't know where this run goes. But what we do know is that somewhere along here, we've got a 1, 3, then a 5, then a 1, 3. Now, trying to do it down here is a problem because this 1, 3 pair is going to include a 3. And as I mentioned earlier briefly, the only thing you can put next to a 3 is a 6. 3, 5 doesn't work. And so this would put a 5 next to a 3, guaranteed, because one of these 1, 3s will be a 3. And that's going to break things. So the 5 has to end up, so the 5 can't be here. So this has to be even because, this can't be 1, let's put it this way. Where are we putting the 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, right? We're not putting it here because the 5 would be, notice this German whisper line here tells us this can't be the 5. So that means this is definitely even. So we're going to mark that with blue to show even. And so now Can we do 1, 3, 5, 1, 3 here? No. And so this also has to be even. Now, can we do 1, 3, 5, 1, 3 here? Actually, yes, we can. This would be the 1, this would be the 5, and this would be the 3. Notice there isn't a German whisper line there. So that's possible as being odd. And then the only other option is 1, 3, 5, 1, 3 here, which makes these 3 odd. So what we know is that these 2 are always odd. We don't know exactly what they are, but they are definitely odd. These happen to overlap our 1, 2, and 2, 1 here. So how do we want to handle this? Okay, let's actually look at this row. This row might be more interesting. I don't know. Maybe there's probably something I can do up here, but I just noticed something about this row. I can't fit both the 2 and the 1 in these 2 cells, right? This is even. And so this can at best give us the one of the 2, but it can't be the 2 and the 1. It's 2 cells. I don't know why I'm spending so much time explaining that. It's obvious. And so that means at least one of them ends up over here, but we can't put both of them over here because we have to have an even in between the 2 and the 1. So that means the 2 is over here, making this both of these orange, and then the 1's over here somewhere, but we don't know how that works. So we now have two blues and 2 oranges here, meaning that this is a blue and an orange. We know these are odd. I'm not sure that matters at the moment. These are both even. Now, what do we know about evens? We know that if you remember, the low, whichever one of these is low, the only even low is 2. So there's definitely a 2 in one of these 2 cells. And because it's a German whisper line, next to the 2, we can only put 5 or 6. So this is a 2, 5, 6. But remember, the 5 is actually used as the odd high up here. We have to do 1, 3, 5, 1, 3. So actually, this is a 2, 6 pair, and we can place this digit, and that'll tell us what purple is. Why will it place? Oh no, wait, it doesn't necessarily place this digit. The one digit we haven't considered is the 4, right? We know that there's a 1, 3, 5, 1, 3 either here, or there's a 1, 3, 5, 1, 3 here, which means the 4 is here or here. So that doesn't actually tell us what's even, what's odd yet, unfortunately. But one of these 2 is 4, and these are from 1, 3, 5 for sure. I guess that's what I was thinking. So that makes this from 1, 3, 4, if it helps. All right, now next to the 4, 4 is another special number. This can't actually be a 4. There we go. That gets us it. Because if this was a 4, it's surrounded by 2 digits that need to be at least 3 away, and the only digit that can be next to the 4 is the 1. So we make this a 1 and that a 1. That's obviously not possible. So that's not our 4, meaning this is the 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, and this is our 4. And that means that green is our high. So that has to be 6. That has to be 2. And then purple is our low. So that's the 1, 3 pair. So these are next to 4, we have to put 1. This is 2, 3. Oh, it's next to 5 though, so it can't be 3. So that's a 2. And then now this is high. This is it's next to a 2, so it's 5 or 6. Over here, this is high, but it's next to a 2, so and it can't be 6, so it has to be 5. Has to be 5. And then this digit here has to be a 1 or a 2. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the purple and the green, and we're just going to stick with even odd coloring here. So this has to be even to finish the box. We know this is odd. We know this is even. All right. This is odd. This is even. That's going to be helpful. All right. This is just next to a 5. So this will work itself out. However these will resolve. Oh, sorry. This isn't going to resolve as a 3. We already talked about that. That's 1 and that's 3. All right. That gives us the 2 here, which is even. All right. So there's just the last German whisper thing we need to do is determine this 5, 6, but German whispers aren't going to tell us that. Sudoku's going to have to tell us that. All right. What can we do here? We already have an odd here. We know that's going to be part of our 2 because we can't squeeze the 1 and 2 over here. So this has to be odd and this has to be even, making this even. We know this is 4, this is 6, this is 4, just from Sudoku. This is a 1, 3 pair. This is a 3 though, giving us the 1 and the 3. These both are odd, and in fact they are the 5 and 1, and these 2 are even, and they are a 2, 6 pair. All right, so we have the 2 here, we have a 1 over here, that doesn't matter. This has to be a 2. This is the 1, this has to be the 2, so that's odd, and it has to be the 5, giving us the 6 here, which is even. We get the 2 and the 6, this is the even 4. All right, up here we need the 1 and the 4. We know the order. So this is even, this is odd because that's 4 and that's 1. Here we need 3, 5, 6. Let's write that out. That's not 5, that's not 6. So this is definitely odd. 3 or 5 is odd. Here we need 3, 4, 6. The 4 can only go here, and that's even. This is not 6. So this is 3, which is odd, and this is 6, which is even. That makes this odd, a 3, 5. Up here we need the 2, 3. Not resolved. Okay, so let's just play what does this box need. It needs a 1, which goes here. So 1 is odd. That means this is even for the row, and it has to be a 2. That gives us this as odd, and this is even, because this is the 2 and this is the 3. Gives us the 5, 3 down here. Let's see if we can finish this. So odd, even. This is a 6. This is a 5, and we're done. Cool puzzle, PjoeterBliep. I enjoyed that. I liked. There's a lot to explain. I think that's why it took me, 8 some minutes, 9 minutes. But oh yeah, it went very cleanly. I really enjoyed that. Cool. Well, let me know how you did, and if you enjoyed it, why don't leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.